What's going on, guys? It's Knives here, and today I have a story time for you. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'd have seen this happen live, but if you don't, what are you doing? Follow it now. 2 days ago on Sunday, I went down to Milton Keynes to see My Chemical Romance live. I've been waiting my entire fucking life for this. I've been a fan for 16 years. Like, since I was 10 years old and I saw the video to Welcome to the Black Parade, I've just been fucking absolutely obsessed. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how much of a little fucking fanboy I am. But anyway, that's besides the point. So on Sunday, I woke up at 6 a.m. I got up, I showered, I was on the train at 8:20 to London King's Cross. Okay, answer a question for me in the comments because I don't know. Milton Keynes is a part of London, right? Like, I've only ever been to London twice in my entire life, and I know, like, London's fucking huge, so it is, right? Yeah. So anyway, prior to this, on the Saturday night, I was packing a bag. Obviously, I didn't take much because we were only staying over for one night, but I was considering whether or not to take some bud down because I knew that there was going to be, like, fucking cops everywhere, because there was a football match on, as well as, you know, possibly the biggest fucking emo rock band in the entire world playing. That, like, I can't even, like, if you're not a fan, then you just won't get it, but, like, they're fucking huge, and like, it still hasn't sunk in properly. Like, I know I look fucking stupid right now, but oh bro, the post-gig depression hit me so hard on the train home last night, but I digress. Anyway, back to the story. I was considering how much bud to take with me. I took my Mighty with me just to cover my back, and one little pre-packed capsule. So I ended up taking 2 tiny little nugs of my green gelato medical bud in the little container that it comes in. But I was so paranoid because we got on the train. I just had to cut the video because I just doxed myself. But so we got on the train. Where I'm from, like, it's not very strict. Like, there's no barriers, and there's usually not a lot of police there. So I just put my tub in my bag underneath, like, my shirt and, like, tomorrow's clothes and stuff. Got on the train, and everything was fine. We got to London King's Cross. We got off the train, and I was still a little bit high because I'd smoked in the morning. We left the house at about 7:20. I smoked quite a big bowl because I knew I wasn't going to be able to smoke until we got to the hotel, potentially. So I was still a little bit high when we got to London, but I was anxious because it was busy, and also I had weed in my bag. The police in London are a lot different to the police where I live. People tend not to care around here, but I know it's a bit stricter down there. Nothing happened. We literally just sailed through the barriers. We didn't even have to show our tickets, which was kind of annoying, but, you know, sailed through the barriers outside the station, trying to find our way to the hotel. We were staying at Hotel Le Tour in Milton Keynes. If any of my subscribers know where that is, that's where I was. So we got to the hotel at about 1:30. We weren't supposed to check in until 3, but the doors for the show were at 4:30, I think. I wanted to get there early because I wanted to get as close as possible. So when we got to the hotel, my idea was that I didn't want to take my Mighty with me, obviously, because they wouldn't let me in with it. So my idea was to take a little nug in my pocket, and let me see if I can find the actual tissue packet that I put it in. So I didn't just want to put the nug in my pocket because it was going to get covered in pocket lint. So fucking smart ass here had the bright idea. This exact tissue pocket, you can see, is quite full. So, you know, the nug was about this big. It was quite a small one. Basically, I stuffed it in there and just sort of closed the packet. And the idea was to find a corner shop to buy a tiny little grinder and a pack of papers with some, like, roaches and shit, roll a joint, smoke, and then go line up so that I'd be, like, less anxious around all the crowds and shit. So I put the nug in here, put the tissues in my pocket, and then we set off to find the bus to the stadium. So I was thinking that around the stadium there was bound to be, like, a little corner shop or something that I could buy a little grinder and, like, some rolls with the roach card. my idea was, like, go around the corner or whatever, roll up, smoke, bin the grinder, put the papers in my pocket, sail through, easy. I've got nothing on me, they can't stop me. So we get off the bus and we walk towards the stadium. We wanted to find the stadium first and then find a shop, which, you know, who thought it would be such a fucking hassle to find a shop? Right, so I'm waffling. Basically, we're off the bus, we've found the stadium, we just followed the fucking emos. I do mean that literally. We got off the bus, we spotted a group of kids in, like, black skinny jeans with black hair and, like, eyeliner, and, like, all props to them. Like, I was that kid. I'm not anymore, because I can't be arsed, it's too much, like, hassle. Obviously, I still do fucking religiously wear only black skinny jeans, but, you know, band t-shirts and all that shit, but I don't do the whole shebang anymore. I don't straighten my hair, I don't dye it, and I most certainly don't wear any makeup. So yeah, props to those kids. It were like 23 degrees and I was in shorts and a short sleeve t-shirt and I was fucking sweating, so, like, more power to them. I admire the dedication. Like, 13-year-old me would have been all over that shit. I would have been dying out there. But yeah, we followed these kids. This girl was nice enough to, like, give us directions, but we basically ended up following her anyway, which sounds creepy, but it wasn't, because she told us which way to go and she was going that way anyway. So yeah, we basically followed her to the stadium. We got there, we found the queue, and then I put into maps, like, closest corner shop or whatever, and the closest fucking corner shop was like half an hour away, so there was no way that I was walking half an hour just to, like, get a grinder and some papers to smoke. Like, it's just too much hassle. Jay had the idea to ask somebody for a cig paper, because, like, I'm more than happy to just, like, pick apart and roll up without a roach, but, you know, I have anxiety, so I didn't want to ask anybody anything. So after flapping about for, like, 5 minutes or so, being really annoyed that there was no corner shop that I could go and buy a grinder and some fucking papers from, I sucked it up and we started to walk back towards the stadium. So at this point, after I've had my little rant and stropped off, brain kicks into gear. I have a nug of weed in my pocket and I'm gonna go through these barriers, and there's people that are getting patted down, getting bag searched. Now, I didn't have a bag, but obviously my pockets were, like, bulging pretty much, because I had my phone, my wallet, this pack of tissues, my vape, and I think that's it. That was in my pockets at this point. But yeah, so I know I'm gonna get pocket searched, so I'm going over and over in my head, like, I'm thinking, fuck, I really don't want to throw this nug away, because, you know, I only brought 2 very small little nugs with me, and if I throw this away, that's half of my weed for, like, tonight and also tomorrow, so I don't really want to throw it away, you know? So I'm thinking to myself, can I get away with it? Like, the tissue packet's closed, it has, the seal's broken on it now, but the seal was working yesterday when I had the weed in there. You can see a little bits of, like, weed on the tissue, but I digress. So the pack was sealed and the nug was, like, stuffed down to the bottom, and it was, like, you couldn't really tell that it was in there. So I'm really, like, considering throwing away half of the bud that I have for this entire trip, and, like, seriously wigging out. Like, my anxiety is already high, freaking out a little bit. So because it's only, like, the tiniest little nug that I had, Jay was like, why don't you just chance it? Like, they're not gonna do anything. If they find it, you just go, like, oh, well, shit, yeah, I'll put it in a bin, whatever. You know, you take the L. But if they don't find it, then you've got your weed still. So I ended up being like, do you know what? Yeah, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen? Like, they're not gonna not let me in the show for the tiniest little nug. They'd probably laugh at me, you know? So we end up walking through the barriers. I'm quite surprised that there really wasn't that many people there at this point. It was about, I want to say that it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock-ish. And the doors were opening at 4 or 4:30, I can't really remember. But yeah, there didn't seem to be that many people there at this point. So we line up in the barriers, and we don't have bags, so we don't have to get bag searched. but you can obviously see in my pockets that I've got shit in my pockets. So I have an envelope with the tickets in my hand, and the dude's like, "Can I pat you down?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I go, like, he pats my pockets. I go to empty them, and he's like, "No, don't take it out." So I'm like, "What? Okay." So he just, like, he pats my pockets, and he, like, grabs the tissue packet, like, it was in my pocket with, like, facing down, the nug at the bottom. He grabs the bottom of my pocket, and he, like, feels it. And, like, at this point, my fucking heart's hammering. I'm like, oh, no, fuck. Like, I'm just, like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, it's over. Like, you know, it's done. But then he steps back, and he's just like, yeah, go through. And I'm literally like, okay. And I start walking forward. And then I turn back because Jay's behind me. And I'm, like, turning around thinking that he's going to get patted down. But then the dude just looks at him, and he goes, yeah, go through. He doesn't even, like, frisk him or anything. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So we, like, walk through towards the gates and stuff. We get our tickets out. And as we're stood waiting in the line to get our tickets checked, we look at each other. And he just goes, what the fuck? I'm just like, bruh, I fucking know. Like, I thought I was getting caught there. But then he just let me get through. Like, he grabbed the bottom of my pocket and he gave it a really good, like, squish. So I don't know if he felt that nug or whether he was just squishing the tissues on my wallet or what. But, like, bruh, I shit pant a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So at this point, we are through the barriers. We've had our tickets checked and we're in. They built, like, a little village thing. There was, like, food stalls and bars and a merch tent. But the doors were still shut, so we were in this little village bit. We went and got ourselves a drink, and that's when I put it on my story. Like, if you saw it, I don't think it's not there anymore. I didn't save it, but it said, like, I just got patted down by security with a nug in my pocket, and they just let me through. So yeah, after the doors opened, we went down into the arena. Got a couple more drinks. We stood through the support acts. The first support act was really, really good. Fuck, I can't remember what her name was, but I'll put it on screen now. You should go check her out. She was good. The second ones I didn't really care for, so whatever, you know, they weren't bad, just not my vibe. And then Placebo played. Now, my brain didn't kick in who Placebo were until the fucking guy opened his mouth, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck, of course I know this band. But, they didn't play the one song that I did know, which is Pure Morning. You know, they didn't play it, so. But they were still really fucking good, like, really good band. Of course, then my chem came on, and, like, bro, like, I don't have words to describe my feelings. Like, I wish I'd had a better view of the stage, but it just be like that when you're short at gigs. They played songs I didn't expect them to play. When they came on, the encore, they played Head First for Halos. I fucking love that song, and I didn't think they were going to play it, but they did, which was a surprise, especially as it was the encore. I've said all along that I would cry if I saw my chem live, because my little 13-year-old emo heart just could not take it, and I didn't disappoint. I did cry, but it took me until the very end of the set to cry. The last song before the encore was Cancer. And of course, like we all know, my mum died of cancer a year ago. So, like, just the emotion in Gerard's voice as he was singing it. They hadn't played it live for, like, I think he said it was 10 years. So, it's almost like, I mean, you can call me stupid, but it's almost like it was meant to be, like it was fate. I'm welling up, bro. That's how emotional it is. Like, it's like the fact that they didn't play it live for 10 years and the timing of it being like a year since my mum passed away, and just like the raw emotion of seeing my favourite band, and the raw emotion in Gerard's voice for him singing it for the first time live in 10 years. Just the first note I cried. I tried not to, but I did. It just came out, and it was, I don't know, it just sort of, it was just like, it was meant to be. call me superstitious, call me stupid, call me whatever you want. It was meant to be. And of course the last song was I'm Not Okay, which as always is a banger. So the show finishes, we leave, and then we realise that we have no way of getting back to the hotel. We were gonna walk, but as we came to realise, the bus here drove through a motorway and you can't walk on a motorway, so we were kind of fucked. There was a taxi parked just like outside around the corner from the stadium. Two girls asked him how much a ride would be to, I think they said Bedford, and he quoted them £150, and my arsehole nearly fell out. Like, we were honestly shitting a brick because we had no other way of getting back. We called the company and we asked them how much, and they said £35 for a 20-minute trip. That's just robbery, man. But we had to pay it or else we would have been stranded there. You may think this is the end, but more things go wrong. So we order food to the hotel whilst we're in the taxi, but the taxi doesn't come up on Just Eat. I think it was Escape across the road was the only thing that like came up as a registered address for that point. So we ordered it to Escape and put in the comments that we were at Hotel La Tour. We came downstairs because the dude rang Jay's phone to say that he was here. As he picked up the phone, Jay's phone died. So like we had no way of like talking to the delivery driver to get us food, so we were also shitting pound because everywhere was closing soon and we were starving. But luckily this dude like drove up and he got out of his car and he looked really weird. He was looking around and he like made eye contact with us and we made eye contact with him and he was just like, food? And we were like, oh yes, thank fuck. And he was like, what's your name? So Jay gave him his name obviously and he was like, yeah, this is your food. So yeah, it was a happy ending. Oh shit, I almost left out the point that we went up to the hotel room before the food came so that I could grab my Mighty and go downstairs and like smoke before we went to bed. Got all the way back downstairs before the food, well just as the food catastrophe was happening, only for me to realise I didn't put the capsule in the vape, so I was just like inhaling nothing for like 5 minutes outside thinking, why the fuck is this so airy and giving me no smoke? So yeah, just to cap off the night. But yeah, all in all, it was fucking incredible, and if I could do it again, I most certainly would, and I think I will, because judging by the merch, new album, maybe. But yeah, that's the story of how I snuck weed into the My Chemical Romance concert. If you like this video, leave a like, leave me a comment telling me what your favourite band is, and if you've seen them live, subscribe for more videos. Peace.